Hello, happy Friday peeps. We are coming at you from another beautiful New England hallmark type of town. We are in Milford, New Hampshire. Kay took the day off and Noah is home with the doggies, hanging out, recouping from a busy work week. So we thought, you know what, let's go for a drive. The skies are looking a little angry. We've had off and on rain. Like every darling New England hallmark movie type of town, they have a lovely little World War II memorial. Sad that such a wee town had so many war dead. The impact must have been really bad. And Milford is most famous for the Milford Oval, which we'll show you in a minute. It's like their town green, center of town, but instead of a traffic circle, it is actually an oval, and they've got a lovely gazebo. And as we turn the corner here, you'll see it. This town has the look, if there ever was a look. Oh yeah, the skies look pretty angry. Let's just peruse around and check out the town. Cute little park over there. We're gonna head this way. You've got a little part of the river running through here. Called Milford because you guessed it, Milford. So there were many mills here, and we are in New Hampshire, the granite state. There were a ton of granite quarries in the surrounding area that provided a lot of work for this town. Now, this was part of Amherst until 1797, at which point it did separate and became its own incorporated town of Milford. This is an area that holds kind of an extra special place in our hearts too, because before we moved here, when we were coming out and looking at properties and exploring New Hampshire and first kind of discovering it years ago, this was an area that we really were kind of drawn to, and we almost moved out here, kind of to the Milford, Amherst, Mount Vernon area. It has a very different vibe. There's mountains all around, some really pretty farmland, and town centers like this that, again, look like it could be something from, you know, a Frank Capra movie like It's a Wonderful Life, or definitely a Hallmark movie. And here in the center of the oval, of course, they've got a beautiful flagpole. Oh yeah, looks like it's gonna storm again. And what would a town like this be without a gazebo? Their gazebo is actually part of the Grand Army of the Republic Memorial. They planted this oak 1886, which means it is technically a Civil War memorial. I am sure tons of guys from Milford also served in the Civil War or the war between the states. The Oval's always a very busy place, and you can see there's lots of little businesses, restaurants, shops. There's an ice cream place. There's a couple little junk shops and antique stops. You know, everything you need for a town, auto shop. And there was a meeting house here, 1788. Apparently it went away in 1834. First Congregational Church. And again, meeting houses were more than churches. They were places to organize, rally, demonstrate, sometimes pass laws, sometimes even hold court cases, and yes, worship. And they were a huge part of early America and the social structure and just the way that any town would conduct business. Look at this gazebo. Does this have the look or what? It's kind of weird to me that this is it's always like this when we come. Busy, loud, tons of cars going around. This is not like a heavy populated area even around it. Oh look. Erected by the Milford Chapter DAR, that's the Daughters of the American Revolution, in honor of William Crosby, who gave this land to the town of Milford, 1788. And of course, was Amherst, like I said. Became its own town. Amherst is down the road a bit. Now Amherst is much more colonial looking, whereas here in Milford, it has that very kind of almost, it's like a movie that would take place in the 40s that you can tell it was more Victorian and then really flourished again in the 1920s. Not as colonial per se, but just really like a slice of old America as my generations and generations just before me would think of it. This is pretty funny here. On the other side, now leaving Milford, come again, because Amherst is down that way. And in honor of her citizens who served their country in the time of war, this monument is erected by the town of Milford, 1927. And yeah, this town very much seems frozen in 1927. I would love for all the modern cars to go away and to just hear because it is not hard to imagine that being part of the atmosphere here. It feels very, very 1927. And you can see here Milford Labor Day Parade, which is coming up, celebrating 80 years. We will not be attending the Labor Day Parade. We have all kinds of other things going on, and oh my gosh, you guys, I think I told you before, but yeah, of course we're still in August, but September is full. My schedule is jam-packed and going to be really, really fun. I've been looking forward to this fall, and it is not going to disappoint. We're going to be heading all over New England on lots of adventures, taking in a ton of history, more moments, the Rev War 250 and beyond. See remnants of how this looks very much like a, what I would call, you know, more working class town that definitely would have had its heyday kind of in the Victorian era and then again in the 1920s. And I think that's visually what we're seeing here. But make no mistake about it, it's not really working class anymore as far as socioeconomically. It is New Hampshire, and it's kind of, you can tell, you know, Milford, Milltown, and again, those granite quarries. That is not how people are making their money anymore. I just find that interesting. I think too, because I've been a lot of places and lived a lot of places, I'm always kind of looking at the whole picture and just want you guys to also understand kind of what we're dealing with here and kind of the difference between what you see and what is actually going on. But some of the architecture, if you stop and appreciate it, is really, really cool. That's like the city hall there. We go in this funky thrift shop here and see if they have anything cool for Kay. Look at that. That's just like our doggies. Is that what you were always looking for?
It's Cliff.
Oh my gosh, that's scary. Oh, you met him.
Scott Baio.
You met Scott Baio on an elevator in Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
That's so funny. I'll insert the Scott Baio picture now. Okay, do you guys know these Annalee dolls? These are made here in New Hampshire, up in the Lakes District. I think they're creepy. What do you guys think? Okay, came down the road because I wanted to show you as we go on our journey of small town New Hampshire today, Amherst. Now this is Amherst Village within the town of Amherst, and starting off here with the library. Just want to give you all the feels here and show you what a lovely slice of America this is. Much more colonial as we go on, we're going to see. We're talking the library real quick. Now here's a drool-worthy collection. So I wanted to step in here. See, we will see in a minute that not much has changed. This was the courthouse. Do your libraries have an original Gilbert Stuart portrait? Probably not. Let's walk the town and find some of those structures that were in that book and the history of Amherst Village. Now, one of the very interesting things to me about Amherst is that this land was set aside for those who fought in King Phillips War, a conflict that we have covered at some length. You guys watched my Taunton, Massachusetts video. That's where we talk a lot about King Phillips War, the conflict, the people who was involved, how that went down, and the effects, as I think I mentioned then, were felt all across New England, including here, where, as I say, interestingly, this tract of land was set aside for colonial soldiers who served in that conflict. And I can already see a gorgeous church or meeting house in the distance. I believe that was in the book we thumbed through. And there is the Civil War Memorial. Every cute town in New England's got one. Just adorable houses, architecture, buildings, and a beautiful, iconic town green. Here is a memorial to a very, very important man, one of the most famous men of his era, Horace Greeley. In memory of Horace Greeley, born February 3rd, 1811, founder of the New York Tribune, member of Congress, candidate for president, died November 29th, 1872, and he was, again, a rock star of the mid-19th century. People either loved him or hate him. A lot of people loved him, and he was from right here. So you've got King Phillips War history, you've got colonial history, you've got 19th century, you've got the mills, the quarries. This place reads just like the American playbook, and I think you can see it. Being here, soaking in the atmosphere, I definitely feel it. I hope it comes across as we take a little stroll through town here. And almost nothing makes me as excited as walking through a beautiful colonial village. This is the kind of stuff, the kind of very nerdy stuff that I absolutely loved and dreamed of being able to do as a child growing up in California and reading books, seeing movies, visiting my family on the East Coast and wanting to soak up every bit of the vibe. Now I can come here and share that passion with you guys. It really, really is, for lack of a better term, a bit of magical colonial wonder. Now this town, if we're going to talk about the socioeconomic status of an area, just to kind of fill in the gaps and tell you what it's like today in 2025, this is a very, very affluent area. I believe this brick building ahead was one of the courthouses, actually. Town hall now, but I think it served as a courthouse. We're gonna take a look. And you can see life centered around this. Troops drilled on this green. I know that it continues to be kind of the hub, the town center, when they have festivals, and I think they do like a, you know, an art show, farmers market type of thing here. Okay, so this says 1823 on this bad boy. This was probably always what it is, the town hall. You guys see what I'm saying? The white picket fence all the way around, the town green, the beautiful homes. Other than the cars going by, it would be totally quiet. Everything is perfectly manicured. I mean, it's like, pinch me, is this real? Ooh, the cemetery. Yes, let's do it. Yeah, lots of civil, I can see already. Civil War era. Like this scene here. Just, let's walk together and soak this in for a minute. Look at this. Oh, and as the leaves continue to change and fall, towns like this just get more and more beautiful. Honestly, too, we were looking at the weather radar today, and going north would have been very, very rainy and thunder and lightning storms. We did not want to go south of the city, south of Boston, because traffic is crazy with Labor Day weekend. A lot of people heading to the Cape and elsewhere. And so we kind of weighed our options and thought, you know what? We have never taken our peeps to Amherst Milford. So, you know, everything happens for a reason. The weather is holding out. It's all working out. And I am absolutely loving this. I love days like this. And look at, here is a Campbell buried here. Kay and I both have a lot of Campbell in our family tree. By the way, Horace Greeley, who we talked about in a minute ago, who was a very famous man from this town, would be what most periodicals would call Scots-Irish, meaning that he was of Scottish heritage. And at some point his family went to Northern Ireland before they came here to beautiful New Hampshire. And that is another part of the big American stories. You look at immigration patterns and who founded what. That is a very common thread in this area, and it's a common thread for us too, personally. Just putting that out there. This one's hard to read. It's a Revolutionary War veteran, I just don't know who, but man, is that ever appreciated. Huzzah, good sir, whoever you are. And so this town came through the Indian Wars. It was kind of a consolation prize for some after King Phillips War and the devastating loss that people experienced with that, the violence and all of the strange superstitions, fears, and everything that came out because of that. And then this town got built up, and then these guys faced the Revolutionary War for Independence. They would go on to face the Civil War, and then generations later they would serve in the Great Wars. And again, isn't that just the American story? But to have it against this beautiful backdrop is pretty amazing and pretty tangible. And I love the tangible, very real and beautiful aspect of it. Here is one William Hartshorn, died 1831. He was also a veteran of the Revolutionary War. Obviously didn't die in the Revolutionary War, since the Revolutionary War was over in 1783. But he went on to live a nice full life there and passed away in 1831. This gentleman was a doctor and served in the Revolutionary War. Henry Goodman. Died in 1812, so also, thankfully, did not pass away from anything incurred in the Revolutionary War. How cool, though, a doctor. That's awesome. Doctors. Huh. If I was in the Rev War, they would have been my best friend, tell you that. You want to be friends with the doctor during any conflict, and at least have one nearby. Not everybody did or was so fortunate, so. Here is the whole family, the Means family. Okay, saying he found a very unique one. What's unique about it?
The hourglass.
Oh yeah, that
the
is
Mason,
different.
the keys.
Oh yeah, a lot of Masonic symbolism on this one. I wish I could read it. It just needs to be clean. If they cleaned it, it would be, I think that could be cleaned. That's very cool. Huh. See, something as ordinary as an ordinary town, and as ordinary as a cemetery, and as ordinary as a town hall. You know, it depends on how you look at it. Some people might see this stuff and just see them for what they are, and I see pure historical magic. I absolutely love this. I think it's so beautiful, and I think that it really helps, at least in my mind, to time travel. Wow. Captain F.C. Nichols, U.S. Army Major. Great-grandson of Colonel Moses Nichols of the 5th New Hampshire of 1776. August 14th, 1823, died in 1906. So those two are together here, both having served. Wow. This one is leaning big, and that is a big, big heavy headstone. I don't know how much longer that's going to be able to maintain, but it's a shame because it is very visible and easy to read and decipher. Erected in the memory of Honorable Moses Nichols. Oh, okay, there's that name again. Departed this life 1790, 50th year of his age. Oh, young. Friend and physician. Cannot have my mortal body from the grave, nor can the grave confine me here, when Christ shall call me to appear. Oh, I love that. That is amazing. And, you know, talk about taking a step back through time. So, this is before Noah Webster came and created the Webster Dictionary and changed a lot of the Old English words into the Americanized spelling. So here you see, one eye on death, one full fist on heaven, becomes a mortal and immortal man. And you can check the spelling there. I have noticed too, headstones, I giggle when I see them with my name on it. It gets even more untraditional when you look at the Old English or kind of Shakespearean spelling of Elizabeth. It looks like Elizabeth, because instead of a Z or an S, they replace it with the letter F. So it looks like Elizabeth. But again, that is just an old Shakespearean or puritanical, depending on timeline and what you're dealing with, spelling. And that is the case not only with names, in other circumstances, replacing the F with Z's in words, but also other words like we just saw fist over there, spelled with an F. And this in memory of Dr. Wow, so many, very unusual, so many doctors buried here. Memory of Dr. Nathaniel Henchman, who after an extensive, and see how that's spelled? EXTENFIVE, and successful, spelled with an F, practice in the healing art of the term of 15 years, departed this life May 27th, 1800, in the 39th year of his age. Very young. He was a Revolutionary War veteran. Oh. So he must have been, well, 1800, the war was 1775 to 1783. He was 39, so yeah, he was younger when he went in, but still. And then to go on to be a doctor and then pass away. I mean, a lot of these little towns were plagued with things like dysentery, fever, tuberculosis, all kinds of disease, sickness, terrible things, and it would ravage, it would go through a community, ravage it, take out a whole bunch of people that really, in today's day and age, would be still very far from death. Listen to those bells in the background. But things like that could really wreak havoc on a community in early America. And as someone who spends a lot of time sort of vicariously living in early America through reading and research, it comes up all the time. Things like what we now call strep throat, and you know, common fevers, common stomach ailments, they would take you out. Oh my gosh, I cannot believe it. Hey Kay, what? Come look at this. Erected in the memory of Mrs. Elisabeth Wilkins, wife of Robert Wilkins, who departed this life July 7th, 1784. That is how you spell Elizabeth. So here's the dealio, guys. I evaded even having a YouTube channel for years. I had friends and family constantly telling me, you should start a channel, you should start a channel. And I was like, there's weirdos out there, there's creepers, my boys were younger, I wasn't sure, I didn't know. You know, you put yourself out there at great risk, haters gonna hate, all that sort of thing. And then once I decided, I thought, I'm gonna ease into this and see how I feel, see how I do. Didn't know what kind of reception I would get or how it would be. And I thought, I struggled. It was hard to not say the boys' names, so I said them. I kept my name secret from you guys, but I feel like we have all reached a point of no return. Here we've got the Reverend Wilkins and a whole bunch more Wilkins. And the town put that up for their beloved minister. And it seems like the whole Wilkins jamboree is laid to rest here. Pretty cool. Some poor sap, hate to joke about these things, but was buried, and this tree
Decided to break it.
Yeah, decided to grow and broke it, and we have no idea which way the body would have.
He is reborn as a tree.
Kinda, yeah. But okay, Grandmother Willow, calm down over there with your reborn as a tree. I don't know how that would have been facing originally. Maybe that way. Interesting. That sucks. Now, unfortunately, there are no sidewalks. But I do want to get closer and see. I'm also, yeah, you have the green to walk through, but I'm also not seeing much plaquage. I know that these homes and buildings are historic. I guess you'd have to get close to, and I'm, don't want to like go up on someone's house while filming. That makes some people uncomfortable, but we will walk over here. I'll take one for the team and see what we can see over here, because I just think that this town is so pretty, so amazing. Definitely has a look. Like, look at that place. So cute. And towns like this, they are common in New England. But they're not all the same. Some are definitely nicer than others and have more of the said look than others. I think this one just has all that kind of going on. There's no like shops or anything, but I don't know. In some ways that almost makes it easier to time travel in the brain. There has been a meeting house here since 1741, and this building, which is the second meeting house, was dedicated in 1774. So the year before the Revolutionary War would officially break out. Just gonna snoop back here for a second because this is too cute not to be snooped on. Oh, there's a bunny. Hello, bunny.
I'll show you something cool. It leads
What?
to the lightning rod.
Oh!
You step back
Yeah.
on the bit thing, you can see it going all the way up to it.
Really?
It's the rooster.
Oh! You mean it goes... Leave it to an engineer to figure that out. It goes from there. Oh, I see. Ben Franklin would be proud. Very old cable. And thank you, Mr. Franklin, for... a lot of the founding fathers. Thomas Jefferson was an inventor too. Always tinkering, always figuring things out. How to make this new country of ours better through innovation. And they did it. Did you know that the swivel or office chair that you sit in, that you appreciate not having a sore butt and a sore back, that is because of Mr. Jefferson, one of my favorite people on the planet? Yes, indeedy. Sure, he basically wrote the Declaration of Independence. Sure, he was president. Sure, he was a founding father. Brilliant man. Scholar. He also invented the office chair. The office chair should not be forgotten. Another darling place. I'm not a creeper. I'm just showing people beautiful colonial architecture. And yes, again, every one of these towns, large and small, with any population in any sort of a green space, has one of these guys. Has names.
Mm-hmm. The citizens and soldiers.
Hmm. Nice looking northern soldier up there. Well, today didn't cover any one particular topic. We're just kind of covering beautiful small towns in New Hampshire and a bit of early America. I hope that you enjoyed. You know, sometimes my videos are focused on one thing, sometimes they're like this. Do you guys like my travel sort of history vlogs where I take you to a town and show you around? I hope so, because I really enjoy making these videos. Talk about classic. Check out that swing set. That is, you know what that is right there? Old school. And as we head back to the car, it is starting to rain, so I think we're gonna go do adulting, boring things now, like go to the store and run some errands. Head back on over to our home on the seacoast. This was like under an hour. I think it was 55 minutes from the New Hampshire seacoast over here to the Milford Amherst area, just for reference. It's a lovely drive. Not a bad day to do it. It's not pouring or anything. It's just starting to sprinkle. What is it?
Directions, how to get to town. 70 miles, 12 miles to Manchester.
Oh, there you go. See? Look at that. I was just talking about that. Cute is that old service station. Oh my gosh. Is that still functioning? I'm starting to get used to people looking at me weird when I'm talking into a camera at you guys. They don't know. They think I'm talking to myself. They don't know that I'm talking to my group of friends and my peeps. So I really appreciate you guys watching. Of course, I'm that history chick, and like Patrick Henry, I know no way of judging the future, but by the past. The past is alive, it's real, it's all across small town America and beyond. We will see you very soon with much more adventure. The summer is not over yet. Fall is ahead. Adventure all the way around. Remember, I'm also on Instagram at _historychick, on Facebook at @thathistorychick, and right here on YouTube at @thathistorychick with more exciting content covering all sorts of topics and bringing you guys along. We will see you soon. Take care. Bye.